Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was the Son of Batman and Becomes Nightclaw movie. Before we start, please go support Silverlion 12k for writing that awesome fanfic. Izuku Midoriya has completed first year. His entire focus was to pass and move up to second year. Before summer vacation started he was going to ask Ochako out but didn't get a chance. To his surprise, upon going home to see his mother in order to forget Ochako, Inko reveals his true heritage and family name. Chapter 1. Izuku Midoriya has completed first year. His entire focus was to pass and move up to second year. Before summer vacation started he was going to ask Ochako out but didn't get a chance. It was because when first year was close to ending, Ochako stopped hanging out with Iida and Izuku and began to cling to Kitsuki. Everyone knew Izuku had a crush on Ochako, so on the final day of classes, Izuku had a plan to ask her out, but when he found her he saw her confess her feelings to Kitsuki, and at that point he didn't care. When the students of 1 is soon to be 2 heard Ochako and Kitaki began dating, many didn't like the fact but gave fake congratulations on being the first couple. Izuku walked in with a very convincing fake smile that people didn't question. He packed up all his things and made his way home, hoping to forget about the shitty day. Ochako kept trying to text him, but he decided on ignoring her messages since she was already in a relationship with another man. Why keep in contact with her, he thought. Upon getting home he saw his mother, who was packed and ready to leave. Izuku. Hey mom, where are you off to? Inko. Hi Izuku, I've missed you. Well, we're going to visit your father. Izuku. We're going to see dad in person. Inko. Yes, but before we head out I have to tell you something about your father. Izuku. What about dad? Inko. Your father's real name isn't Hisashi and our family name isn't Midoriya. Izuku. What do you mean, mom? Inko. My family name is Midoriya. Your father's real name was Bruce Wayne. Izuku. What? Inko. Your father suggested that I keep my family name because he didn't want us to get hurt. You were born in the city of Gotham. We lived together with your father until you turned 2. You also have 3 older brothers that your father and I adopted. They remember you well, and since I send them updates and every one of your accomplishments, they're proud of you and we're excited to hear we are heading over there this summer. It was so much to process, but Izuku was ready to meet his father after so long. Let's get going, he said. Then both Inko and Izuku left for the airport after locking up the apartment. After getting tickets, all Izuku thought during the entire flight was, will dad be proud of me? After getting off an 11-hour flight, both Inko and Izuku collected their bags. Mom, I'm going to the bathroom. Okay, you'll see me with your brothers who will have a sign with our names on it. As the two separated, Izuku was in the bathroom and Inko had seen her other sons. The eldest looked extremely excited. Mom, the eldest shouted as his other brother had smiles on their faces. Inko. Hick, Jason, Tim, how have my boys been? Hick. We've been well mom, where's our little brother? Inko. Izuku had to use the bathroom. Jason. Will he be able to find us? Inko. Yes, he's going to be able to find us. Tim. I can't wait. After everything that we've heard we want to talk all about his achievements. Before their conversation could continue, a loud bang was heard. It was a group of 10 criminals with automatic rifles, demanding people drop on the floor. Everyone was terrified. Jason, Tim and Hick were kicking themselves in the ass for not bringing a communicator to make a call for help. Before the criminals could attempt anything, a green blur was seen and took out all 10 in lightning speed as he proclaimed to the people, for I am here. He was clad in a green hero suit with support gear. Many asked who he was and he answered and said, I am Deku. In that very same moment, the airport's windows shattered and Izuku got into a fighting stance, getting ready for anything. When the dust settled, standing before them was Batman, Superman, Green Arrow and Wonder Woman. Batman had seen Deku and noticed the villains unconscious. Did you do this? He asked Deku, who only nodded his reply. Deku. I heard the commotion and decided to act. I couldn't let any innocent bystanders get injured. Batman. You did good, kid, now let the pros handle this. Batman saw Deku walk toward a familiar green-haired woman when he muttered in a low voice, Izuku. Batman and the Justice League had apprehended the criminals who were unconscious, which made it easy for them to send them to jail. But before Bruce could assist in transporting the criminals to jail, Superman pulled Batman to the side and said, head home. Inko should be heading there soon. Batman nodded, thanking Superman for understanding why he wanted to rush quickly. After jumping in the Batmobile, he raced off home to get ready for his wife's arrival. Back to Izuku. Once everyone was saved, Izuku rushed back to the bathroom and changed into his civilian clothes. When he saw his mother, she gave him a bear-crushing hug as his brothers laughed. Can't breath. Inko let him go. Izuku. Sorry if I worried you mom, but you know me, I just can't let any innocent people get hurt. Inko. You and your father are very similar. Izuku, I want to introduce you to your older brothers from left to right. We have Hick, Jason and Tim. Izuku. It's great to meet. Izuku was cut off by Hick and was held in a bear hug again, then the other two had welcomed him home. Tim. You may not remember but you lived with us for 2 years, so we waited to see you again. Jason. Yeah little man, welcome home. The group of 5 left the terminal and made it to the pickup area where they were met by a limo. After being picked up they were driven to Wayne Manor, which was about an hour away. Izuku looked out the window to see the city of Gotham. After the hour they saw the massive Wayne Manor in their sights. Once they pulled up to the manor, Izuku was in awe of the sight and couldn't believe this was his father's home. He heard a jingling and without warning was knocked down by a black blur. His brothers and mother did nothing because it was an adorable reunion. The dog began to sniff the young man, then recognized the scent as it was the one he constantly searched the mansion for. The dog licked the young man's face in joy that his owner had come home at last, then came another voice. Ace down boy, at least let Master Izuku breath. The dog now know as Ace let Izuku stand when suddenly the young man remembered something as a child, that he had a puppy at one point. He just thought it was a figment of his imagination. Alfred. Well Lady Inko and Master Izuku, welcome home. Inko. Oh Alfred, just Inko will be fine. How has my husband been? Inko said as she gave the man a big hug as it had been years since she had seen Alfred. He should be in his study. Allow me Master Izuku, Alfred said as he had tried to carry both him and his mother's bags. Izuku. That won't be necessary Alfred, I can carry my bag. I don't want to inconvenience you. Alfred. Nonsense young master, this is my job. They all began to walk towards the manor when suddenly Bruce stood at the front door. Inko smiled wide and ran to him. Bruce for Hick, Jason and Tim. It was rare to see their father show any emotion, but when Inko was around, he showed another side of himself. When Bruce's eyes landed on Izuku, he approached the young man and gave him the biggest welcome home hug. Bruce. Welcome home my son. I'm so proud of how you took down those criminals today. Izuku. How'd you know that was me? Inko. I told him about your costume and hero name. Bruce then opened his button-up shirt to reveal the bat logo on his chest. Izuku went wide-eyed as he just learned his father was Batman. Bruce. Let's get inside, you and your mother will be here for the summer and I'd not only like to train you but spend quality time with my family. Chapter 2. As the family entered the manor they had enjoyed what was left of the first day. Bruce showed Izuku the room where he would stay at and a few seconds later they saw Ace drag his bed in the room. Izuku. Ace want to spend the night with me? Ace barked happily and pounced on Izuku again as he was given affection by his canine companion. Bruce couldn't help but have a small smile that then gave Izuku a tour of the manor so he could learn what his father's home had to offer. As the sun began to set, Alfred called the family downstairs for a meal. Once they enjoyed the delicious meal, Hick, Jason and Tim had decided to see what Izuku could do, so they decided to have a sparring match an hour later so that nobody pukes later. 1 hour later. Hick, Jason and Tim took Izuku into one of the gyms the manor had to see what kind of potential Izuku had. Hick was the first one up against Izuku. After 5 minutes Izuku could be able to fight on par with the eldest brother. Jason was up next and he didn't give Izuku a second to catch his breath because he wanted to know how much stamina his brother had in the tank, and to his surprise after 15 minutes Izuku and Jason were at a standstill. Lastly, Tim was up and gave Izuku a tough time since he was exhausted from the previous battles. Unknown to the 4 young men, Bruce and Inko were watching them in silence. When the fight ended, Bruce began to clap and praise his sons for a job well done. They all went to their rooms and took showers. Izuku was laying in bed after his shower. He was lost in thought and didn't notice Ace jumping on his bed trying to make himself comfortable at his foot. As his door was opened, Hick, Jason and Tim stood at his door. They knocked. Izuku. Hey guys, what's up? Hick. Nothing, we wanted to know if you wanted to come out with us for the night. Izuku. What are we doing? Jason. We're gonna go on patrol. Izuku's eyes widened and was excited. He grabbed his bag where his costume was and headed out. His older brothers had shown him the Batcave and began to get suited up when they saw the green suit he was about to wear. Jason. Little man, you ain't wearing that, are you? Izuku. Mom made this for me. Bruce. Where do you think you're going? When suddenly Inko and Bruce caught them about to head out. The young men admitted to taking Izuku out for patrol when Bruce said. Bruce. If you're patrolling then let's do it as a family. Inko. I don't think the Batgirl costume will fit anymore. I guess Batwoman makes her debut. The boys were losing their minds as Jason shouted, Batgirl comes out of retirement. Izuku never knew his mother was the legendary Batgirl. Izuku. Mom, you were the original Batgirl. Inko. Yes I was, but when I got pregnant with you Barbara Gordon took over. Izuku was in awe to know his mother was a hero. The whole family suited up, but Izuku stood out like a sore thumb since his brothers thought he was a green bunny. Batman. Izuku, take that suit off because I think it's time to retire it. Izuku. This is the only hero suit I have. Batman. Don't worry, I made you a suit and I had the same material that Jason used for his suit. Batman had pushed a button and another suit had popped out of the wall with a small sign that read reserved. Izuku. It's amazing, is this really mine? Batman. It sure is, now suit up son. Oh, the name of this suit is called Nightclaw, so use that as an alias. The Bat-family had gone on patrol, but everything was quiet until they spotted someone suspicious making a shady deal in an alleyway. Nightwing. Nightclaw, this is all you, but it's tradition to use Dad's catchphrase. Nightwing had whispered the catchphrase in Izuku and he got ready to stop this deal. As the moon began to shine down on the shady drug deal, the two saw a familiar shadow loom over them. CROOK1. I can't go back to jail, just got out. Nightclaw. I am the vengeance, I am the night, I am Nightclaw. Izuku quickly took down the drug dealer and buyer quickly, then the rest of the Bat family had made their appearance. Batman, good job Nightclaw. Nightclaw. Thanks Batman. The rest of the night went like this, just taking down petty criminals as a family. When they checked the time, it was currently 11 p.m. and Batman got an incoming transmission from the Watchtower saying they needed his help. Batman. We're going to the Watchtower, they asked me for help. Izuku. Do you want me to fall back and head home Batman? Batman. No, you'll come with us, you'll get to meet your Uncle Clark, Aunt Diana, Uncle John Stewart and Uncle Oliver. They then teleported to the Watchtower and were greeted by Green Arrow, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. Batman. What's the situation? The other members were confused since Nightwing, Red Dude and Red Robin were members of the Teen Titans, then there were two unknown members along with them. Wonder Woman. Batman, what's the meaning of bringing some of the Titans and two unknown members with you? Batwoman. Diana, have you forgotten your S.H.I.E.L.D. sister? Inko said as Wonder Woman was shocked on how the female knew her name, but when she removed her mask, Diana saw her best friend Inko. Green Arrow and Green Lantern were also in shock to see their old friend again after so many years. Wonder Woman. Inko, why did you suddenly hang up the cape? Inko. I found out I was a week pregnant and I didn't want to risk anything. The three heroes were in shock to know Inko hung up the cape due to expecting a baby. Superman wasn't surprised because he knew that Bruce and Inko were married. Wonder Woman. Where is your son now? Batman. Nightclaw, step forward and remove your helmet. Izuku took a few steps forward and removed his helmet to reveal his emerald green eyes and wild curly hair. They also took notice of his facial structure that looked similar to Bruce's. Batman. I want to introduce to you Izuku Wayne, mine and Inko's biological son. Izuku, hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. Chapter 3. Once all the members of the Justice League were caught up to speed with what's been going on with the Bat-family, Batman had asked again, what's the situation? This caused everyone to remember the reason why Batman was called. Superman. Well, it seems Bane is planning something big this time, he's moving thousands of steel drums and they're all full of venom. Before the meeting continued, all members of the Justice League heard nothing but muttering and word vomit as they turned and saw it came from Izuku. Well, he jotted things down in a notebook as many wondered where he pulled it out from. Superman was going to break Izuku out of his muttering until Batman stopped him. Wait for it. Izuku finally finished. Izuku. I have a guess as to what he's planning, care for me to explain. Batman. You have the floor. Izuku. I believe Bane is going to try and mass produce this in a way that is less noticeable. For example, Bane needs the massive tank to carry his venom, which makes it a clear weakness, but what if he made something easier to carry and conceal? It's possible that he could sell this like a new steroid. Many were impressed with this theory, and this seemed like the most logical one. So the Bat-family, Superman, Green Arrow, Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, had gone to where Bane was located, they hid in the shadows and used their reconnaissance gear to eavesdrop on the conversation. But Bane. Bane. Yes, finally, after years of research, my prototype slappers are complete. Who will be the first volunteer? Henchman 1. I will. When the henchman walked forward, then Bane placed a patch on him which made him bulk up like his boss when the venom coursed through his body. Bane. Excellent, after so long my new venom application method is complete. Now henchmen, with these we can sell them and make a massive profit. Then we amass an army and conquer the world. But the Justice League. Batman. Well, Nightclaw, looks like you were right after all. Nightclaw. Then let's take them down now. As the Bat-family and Justice League had dropped down, Bane and his henchmen rushed and attacked each member of the Justice League, and Bat-family were covering each other. Izuku was using Black Whip to trip the henchmen, so it allowed Superman to give them knockout punches, but they seemed to be able to tank more hits. Izuku tried to assist those he could, but Bane turned his attention to Nightclaw, so Bane had venom flow through his body. Bane. Batman, is this your new disciple? Maybe he should be acquainted with how I almost ended your career. Batman. Ooh. Bane lifted Izuku and got him in position for the backbreaker. Izuku tried to break free, but remembered that the previous OFA users are always watching. Izuku suddenly felt his back covered by something. When his back was on Bane's knee something cracked, and it wasn't Asuka's spine. Ah, Bane shouted in pain. His body was still moving normally due to adrenaline and venom in his body. Izuku noticed diamond on his fists that resembled gauntlets. Izuku then began smashing Bane's face, leaving him bloody after delivering a Texas smash into his abdomen, sending him in the air. This gave Superman a chance to smash Bane back down to the ground. Batman. You okay, Nightclaw? Nightclaw. Yeah, I think my quirk mutated again. May I head back to the Batcave? Batman. Sure. Good job tonight, get some rest. Izuku was teleported back to the Batcave. Alfred was there with a snack. Alfred? Master Izuku, where are the others? Izuku? Still on patrol. We had a run-in with Bane, and he almost snapped me in half if it weren't for a mutation quirk that manifested in the last second. Alfred? Master Izuku, head to your room and I'll be there shortly to treat your injuries. Izuku? Thanks, Alfred. After Alfred treated Izuku and put some heating cooling packs on him to remedy the soreness. Thanks, Alfred, I appreciate this. Anytime, young Master, Alfred said as he departed from the room. Izuku was about to call All Might until a shadow loomed over him. When Izuku saw up, the shadow said, "Hello, number 9. Izuku? Who are you? Tetsuya. My name is Tetsuya Kawajiri, but you can call me number 3. I've come to tell you my quirk diamond shell has now been activated within you. Izuku? What does it do? Tetsuya. Well, you can encase your body with diamond including your skeleton. It makes it easier to use OFA. You can also pull rods of diamonds from your body to use as weapons. Izuku? Amazing. How did you die if you don't mind me asking? Tetsuya. The woman I was engaged to was a spy for AFO and she assassinated me while I slept. Luckily I passed my quirk to my successor a month prior. Before I fade away, please allow me to grant you the knowledge, wisdom and understanding of my quirk. As Izuku began to absorb the knowledge of the quirk, he was laying down and fell asleep. Master Izuku, would you see? Alfred returned with a chicken sandwich and a soda, only to find Izuku sleeping. He placed the food on the nightstand. He grabbed an extra blanket and covered the young man. When Alfred returned downstairs, he was greeted by the rest of the Bat family. The young master as well. He just fell asleep after treating some bruises. Inko let out a sigh of relief. What do you think caused his quirk to mutate? Bruce. All of you follow me, you'll see why it happened. Bruce led everyone to the Batcave where he looked up a file on the Bat computer. It was named All for One. The video played was the dark history that Japan had covered up. Inko, Hick, Jason and Tim were shocked someone like this existed. Hick. Okay Bruce, what does this have to do with Izuku? Bruce pulled up another file named One for All. This file played the brave heroes who fought AFO to their last breath. Each hero died young, but not before passing on their quirk to their successor. It wasn't until it showed Izuku who then became the successor to All Might. Bruce. As you can see, Izuku is the current successor to One for All, a quirk that was meant to stop All for One. If my calculations are correct, Izuku must have unlocked another of the 7 quirks he'll possess. Jason. 7 quirks, that's crazy, so what do we do? Batman. Well, the best we can do is train him like I did all of you. I know for a fact when you all sparred with him you didn't use everything I taught you. I also noticed Izuku doesn't have a very solid fighting style. Hick. We'll make sure he's ready, Dad. Bruce. Good. Since he's asleep, I wanted to ask, how would you feel moving to Japan? Tim. Wait, you mean live together in Japan? Bruce. Yeah, I have been meaning to make Japan my new headquarters, along with bringing the Titans too. We have a new heroes ready to be the next Titans of Jump City. Hick, Jason, Tim. When do we leave? Bruce. We leave 4 days before Izuku needs to hear back. This should be enough time to get settled in Japan. Chapter 4. In Japan with UA girls, 7 p.m. The girls from UA decided to have a massive sleepover at Momo's mansion. It was all girls from both hero course classes. The only person who they were waiting on was Achako, who seemed to be running late. Mina. Has anyone seen Achako? Jiru. No, but has anyone heard from her? Momo. I believe she's having a problem because of Bakugo. Sayu. Do you mean the fact that he's probably controlling her social life? Mina. I still can't believe that she chose Bakugo over Midori. Momo. Regrettable indeed, even after we assisted Midoriya in preparing to confess to her. Itsuka. Wait, Midoriya was going to confess to her. Why didn't he do so earlier? Momo. He said it was because of final exams and he wanted to focus and not get distracted. Ibera. That's the right thing to do since he probably thought they would do horrible if they began dating during exam period. It wasn't until Tsayu's phone sounded off and she read the message to everyone. It's from Achako-chan. She says Katsuki didn't want her to hang out with us, but she said that it was a girls' sleepover, but that he would call her every so often. Jiru. Wow, talk about possessive. Achako dug her own grave getting into a relationship with Bakugo. All the other girls nodded in agreement and continued to talk gossiper boys. After half an hour Ichako finally arrived. Ichako. Hey girls, sorry to keep you waiting. Everyone just smiled and welcomed her as if everything was normal. But at the back of their heads they didn't like how she chose Katsuki over Izuku. Ichako. So what are we doing now? Mina. We were talking about boys. Before Ichako could respond to that her phone rang. Yes, I made it safe. Okay, see you tomorrow. Ichako hung up then apologized to the other girls. Ichako. Sorry but Katsuki said he'd be calling me often. Mina. Is he paranoid? Ichako. No, why do you ask? Jiro. No reason. Ichako. By the way, have any of you tried to call Deku? Toru. No, why? Ichako. My calls won't go through. Mina, maybe he blocked your number. Ichako. Why would he do that? Jiro. You stopped hanging out with him and Iida and began dating his bully. Ichako. Bully. Katsuki isn't a bully. Momo. Mina. Jiro. Have you seen the way he treats Midoriya? Ibara. Ichako, perhaps he blocked your number since you're a woman in a committed relationship and he wouldn't want to be caught in that drama. Itsuka. I think you have a point there, Ibara. Also take into consideration what Bakugo's reaction will be if he finds out you've been talking to Midoriya. Ichako. Well, I want to hear it from him. So can someone call him for me? Jiro. Fine, give me Green Bean's number. Back in Gotham 3 a.m. As Izuku was sleeping his phone began to ring and vibrate. When he saw it the number was blurry and he didn't recognize the contact, so he answered. Izuku. Izuku. Midoriya speaking. This is Izuku. Hayaka. Hey Green Bean, it's Jiro. Wait, were you asleep? Dude, it's only 7 p.m. Izuku. And not in Japan, I'm in America and it's 3 a.m. over here. Jiro. What are you doing in America? Izuku. I'm visiting my father. So what's up? Hayaka. Listen, I'm with the girls and we want to know if you're okay. Izuku. I'm fine, thanks for worrying. Hayaka. So did you block your Araka's number? Izuku. Yeah, I'd rather not be caught up in the drama than having to hear Bakugo yell Deku stop talking to my woman. Hayaka. Wow, that was a good impression. Izuku. Yeah. So is there anything else? Hayaka. Yeah, do you forgive your Araka for dating your bully? Izuku. There's nothing to forgive, I just don't want her to get hurt in her relationship for talking to me. Hayaka. Okay, thanks Midoriya, hope to see you back in class. Ichako was shocked even though she stopped hanging out with Deku and Iida. She felt bad having chosen Katsuki over her friends and Deku just wanted her to avoid any future problems. In Gotham with Izuku. After his call with Kayaka he couldn't sleep, so he decided to begin his early workout session. Before starting, Izuku went to the kitchen and saw his father having a cup of tea with Alfred. Alfred. Young master, why are you up this early? Bruce. Everything alright, son? Izuku. Yeah, I'm fine, just got a call from a friend and couldn't go back to sleep, so I thought I'd get my workout started. Bruce. I was about to start too, how about you join me? Izuku. Sure dad. Bruce. We'll go to the desert. For the first half of your training. This will help to build you up more, then we work on stealth training. A.N. Izuku will do Adonis Creed's training. 4 weeks later. After 4 weeks in the desert, the Bat family had noticed Izuku become a bit bulkier, but still maintaining his lean build. They returned to Gotham to train Izuku in stealth. This transformation made Izuku more confident. 4 weeks later. After another 4 weeks, Izuku had adapted to the shadows, and on the side, Izuku had continued to work on Ofa. At this point Izuku had mastered 55% Ofa. He also got better control on Black Whip and Diamond Shell. Bruce. Izuku. Izuku. Yeah dad. Bruce. I'm proud of how far you've come, so from here on out we'll do light sparring, then afterwards you can rest and enjoy the rest of your vacation. Chapter 5. Bruce had allowed Izuku to enjoy himself for the rest of his vacation. After training, Izuku hung out with his older brothers who introduced him to the Teen Titans. He also learned that his older brother Hick was dating Starfire with the intention to marry her. When trouble occurred they took down villains, and Izuku no longer went by Deku, he chose Nightclaw as his hero name. He also sent a name change request to the Hero License Board and a costume change request to UA, both were approved without hesitation. There was only a few weeks left until school started up again, so Hick, Jason and Tim decided that their brother needed a major revamp. So they took their brother shopping for new clothes. Jason. Okay Izuku, now that we have the clothes we're going to go cut your hair, get your ears pierced and get tattooed. Izuku. Ears pierced and tattooed. Won't mom get upset? Hick. We told her this would be beneficial to your self-esteem and this would also boost your confidence. Tim. So in short words she said there's no problem. Jason. But first let's get some grub, I'm starving. They went to this burger joint that wasn't very busy and got combo meals. Once they were done, it was time for Izuku to get his ears pierced and tattoos. Jason had scheduled an appointment ahead of time so they wouldn't have to wait very long to see the artist. As they entered the shop, Jason walked to his friend Mike, who would be piercing and tattooing his brother. Mike. Jason, you're a bit early for the appointment, but we can start now. Jason. Hey Mike, this is my little brother Izuku. He's turning 17 in a few days, so he's the one getting tattooed and pierced. Mike. Okay, so since you brought him here, I'm sure your parents know about this. Jason. They do. First they started with the piercings, and when Izuku's ears were pierced, Hick brought out a pair he bought Izuku. Hick. Here Izuku, I bought you these beforehand. They were silver studs with diamond gems. Hick had put them on for Izuku. Izuku. Thanks big bro. Mike. Alright little man, what kind of tattoo do you want? Izuku wasn't sure, he never thought about it, so he asked Jason for advice. Jason, what do you think I should get? Jason. Well little man, you're getting 2 tattoos, so is there anything you want? Izuku. How about a lion? Mike. That's perfect, strong and powerful. I'm also an expert in multiple tattoo styles like traditional Japanese, old school, new school, classic Americana and black and gray to name a few. Izuku. Can I get a lion on my right arm? Do you have pictures of your other work? Mike. Sure kid. Yeah, look over the book and decide on the second tattoo. I'll prepare my machines. Izuku saw what he wanted, an archangel for his left arm. It caught his attention, so he knew what he was getting. Izuku. Excuse me Mike, I know what I want for my second tattoo. Mike walked over and saw the picture Izuku pointed at. He nodded in agreement. Mike. Do you want color? Izuku. Black and gray for both please. Mike. Okay, the time is 12 o'clock in the afternoon, each tattoo will take 4 hours. Do you want the first one today, then come back tomorrow, or do you want to knock it out all in one day? Izuku. I want to knock them both out today, but then I won't have time for a haircut. Jason. Not to worry, Mike is also a licensed barber. So began the first 4 hours of getting a tattoo. Mike was surprised that Izuku didn't fidget or complain about pain. After 4 hours the first tattoo was complete. Izuku looked in the mirror and loved the way the tattoo looked. It was amazing work. Mike. Okay, before we do the last one let's take a break and stretch. Jason. I ordered some pizza so we could eat. Not long after the pizza arrived and Hick, Jason, Tim, Izuku and Mike ate before doing the last of the Izuku's transformation. After eating and washing their hands the last tattoo was going to be done. 4 hours later. When the last 4 hours were up, Izuku stood up and admired the artwork on his left arm. Izuku. This is amazing, thank you so much Mike. Mike. No problem little man, but we're not done yet. Mike said as he placed Vaseline on the tattoos and wrapped them in plastic wrap to prevent any dirt or bacteria from getting in the skin. It was also so Izuku could see how the healing was going. Mike. Since you probably want to shower, I'll use my quirk so the healing speeds up. Once the green aura Mike used healed Izuku, he didn't have to worry about not being able to shower. Then they went to an area of the shop where they could cut hair. After 30 minutes Izuku was looking like a new man. Izuku. Thank you for everything Mike. Mike. No problem little man. Jason pulled his credit card out and paid Mike, but was only charged $100 for everything. It was a great deal, since Jason had saved Mike's life before. Back at Wayne Manor. As the 4 young men walked into the mansion, their parents and Alfred were having tea. When they heard we're home, the 3 adults got up and greeted them. When Inko asked the million-dollar question, where's Izuku? The eldest son stepped aside and presented Izuku. When his parents and Alfred saw him they were surprised. Bruce. It looks like you inherited the Wayne family's handsomeness. Inko. Izu, you'll probably have to beat women away with a stick. Alfred. My word young master, you look incredible. Izuku. Thank you all for the kind words. Izuku turned and bowed to his brothers, thanking them, which just made his brothers hug him. Jason. Izuku, I want you dressed and ready to go out around 9:30. Time skip. It was 9:30. Izuku was dressed and ready to head out with his brothers. Jason brought his car around to the front of the home and headed off towards the city. Izuku. Where are we going? Jason. We're going to this party, it's gonna be great. Izuku. Where will this party be? Hick. Somewhere downtown in a club. Don't worry, there won't be alcohol. As they had arrived at the party, the place was packed full of people. Izuku had a feeling he was going to have a great time when he saw something that angered him. Izuku saw a man feeling up a young woman, so Izuku broke away from his brothers and went to help the girl. Izuku had begun to twist the arm of the man and said. Izuku. If the girl said she's not interested, then leave her alone. Izuku said in a very menacing tone. The man had dropped to the ground and Izuku saw a bouncer walk towards him. He explained what happened and the offender was literally tossed out of the party. Izuku turned to the girl, are you okay? When they locked eyes he instantly recognized her. Melissa. Deku. Izuku. Melissa. Chapter 6. After Izuku saved the young woman from being felt up by a guy she rejected, they locked eyes and recognized each other. Melissa. Deku. Izuku. Melissa. The two shared a hug and she thanked him for helping her out. Melissa. What are you doing in America? You look very handsome tonight. Izuku. I came to visit my father. Thank you for the compliment. Why are you here? Melissa. I graduated from my Island Academy and I'm trying to pick one of the colleges that are offering me a scholarship to attend their support program. The two sat down and had a nice conversation while they caught up each other on what they've been doing. With Jason, Hick and Tim. Jason. Hey little man, what do you think? Jason turned around and saw Izuku wasn't with them anymore. Jason. Tim, wasn't Izuku behind you? Tim. Yeah, he still is. Oh shit, is missing. Hick. I found him. Jason. Where is he? They saw Izuku at the counter talking to a beautiful blonde girl without any issue. The boys had very wide smiles, seeing their little brother hit it off with a girl. Jason. Man, how was he able to pull that chick? They sat at a table near the drink counter and were listening to bits and pieces of the conversation. With Izuku and Melissa. Melissa. Wow, you've been through a lot, but I'm glad you're okay. Izuku. It's been a heck of a journey so far, but I can't complain. Do you want to take a walk outside? Melissa. Sure. She said in joy as she held his hand and they left the club, but Izuku didn't mind at all, it felt natural. Meanwhile, Izuku's brothers began to follow the two. We should record this, Jason said, hoping to send it to their parents already on it. Hick said as he was recording the young couple they saw them take a walk past a few shops, one sold ice cream, and Izuku bought them some double scoop ice cream. They then walked through a park. Melissa recalled the events that Izuku talked about during the Yakuza raid. Melissa. So what happened to the little girl you saved? Izuku. Oh, she's doing a lot better now, her quirk control has also improved. Melissa. Do you have any pictures? Izuku. I have two at the moment, my senpai hasn't sent me the others, he took one is when we took her to the beach. Izuku showed Melissa the two pictures and squealed, oh my gosh, you both look adorable together. Izuku. Thanks, this was a month or two after we saved her, I was usually visiting her the most so she wouldn't feel lonely. Melissa. Where is she now? Izuku. My teacher Eraserhead is taking care of her so that he can help her by cancelling her quirk if it activates randomly. As they kept talking they left the park. Melissa then checked her phone and saw multiple missed calls from her friends and it was about 10:30 p.m. Melissa. Oh shoot, I completely left my friends to be with you. Izuku. I'm sorry, is there anywhere I can take you to regroup with your friends? Melissa. Can you walk me to our hotel, it's not far from here. Izuku. Sure. He stood up and offered her a hand, she accepted and they continued to hold hands until they reached where her hotel was. When they got there chaos was going down as Izuku saw the Teen Titans were dealing with members of the Hive 5. Izuku decided to get Melissa to a safe place and with a push of his belt his costume covered him. Izuku. Please stay safe. Melissa took his helmet off and gave him a kiss on the cheek and replied I will, then Izuku left to confront the evil group. Nightclaw. Your evil stops here. Jinx. You're all alone and the Titans are knocked out. Hive 5 surround him. Izuku. Hive 5. You do know there are 6 of you, right? After being made to look stupid they all rushed Nightclaw but were easily fended off without issue. Mammoth tried to rush Izuku and punch him but both his fists were broken after punching Nightclaw's diamond shell. Nightclaw had gone after the Batman wannabe and slammed his face into the asphalt. Ismo. Billy gets around him. Billy the man in the red jumpsuit had a clone-like power, this made Izuku remember about twice who was better than this jump. Just like Mammoth, Izuku hardened and his enemy had broken his leg after attempting to sneak attack him. Pink shot her power at a construction site, making all the Steelers' beams fall towards him until they stopped falling, and Izuku heard a voice, need some backup. It was none other than a small group of the new Teen Titan candidate Static and his partner Gear, along with Superboy, Kid Flash, Red Arrow and Blue Beetle. This small group, without having worked together, had the best team chemistry and took down the members of Hive 5. Gizmo the midget saw his team was taken down, he tried to flee, but before he could get away Nightclaw used Black Whip and pulled Gizmo back to prevent his escape. Then Nightwing, Red Hood and Red Robin had dropped down. Nightwing. You recruits did well, I think we may have found the next Teen Titans, wouldn't you agree? Dude. I believe Jump City has its new protectors. Red Robin. We'll inform the Justice League who the next Jump City Titans are. The Bat Brothers had checked on Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg and Starfire and made sure nobody needed serious medical attention. Before they dropped off the unconscious Titans back at the tower, Izuku asked, why didn't you guys give me backup? Hick, Jason and Tim laughed and Hick said, we did, we're the ones who sent Static, Gear, Superboy, Kid Flash, Red Arrow and Blue Beetle. Before they could take the Titans home, Melissa ran to Nightclaw and embraced him. You've improved a lot since the last time I saw you fight. Listen, before you go, here's my number. I'm going to be in town for a few more days, maybe we can have a date. Melissa said before giving Nightclaw a kiss on his helmet. Nightwing. Looks like Nightclaw has a date. Mom and Dad will love to see and hear about this. They then took the unconscious Titans home, then Izuku remembered they said something about new Titans. Izuku. So are Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg and Starfire getting replaced. Tim. They're actually being sent elsewhere. That's why the guys who gave you backup are taking over protecting Jump City. Chapter 7. It has been 2 weeks since the Hive 5 attack. Jump City. Crime everywhere was beginning to drop. When Izuku realized he had 3 weeks left until it was time for school to start, he made the most of it by spending time with his dad, brothers and surrogate grandfather Alfred. Then suddenly, the week before Izuku had to leave for Japan, Bruce, Hick, Jason and Tim had to attend a meeting in Spain, so they said goodbye. So for 1 week he had multiple dates with Melissa, which ended the same way, a kiss on the cheek, until Thursday came and she told him that she had chosen a university to attend. It was Japan's Institute of Technology, but she didn't tell him. So Melissa asked if he'd like to have a long-distance relationship, but little did he know she would be waiting in Japan for him. Izuku agreed, and they shared their first kiss before parting ways. On the third to last day, Izuku had packed his things and was ready. He said goodbye to the Titans and Justice League. One of the hardest goodbyes would have to be Alfred, not because he would no longer have a butler, but because he was family. Ace was following Izuku, not wanting to say goodbye. Sorry Ace, you can't come, Izuku said sadly, since he finally had a dog. Alfred. Actually, Master Izuku, your father said that he wanted you to take Ace to Japan. Izuku. Really? Won't you be lonely here, Alfred? Alfred. I'm meeting with your father and brothers after I drop you and your mother off in Japan. Your father requested I take you both home in the private jet. Once on board, Izuku was amazed, so he and Ace had settled on the couch and Inko took one of the seats across from them. 6 hours into the flight, Izuku and Ace were asleep. Alfred had put the plane on autopilot so that he could eat and use the bathroom. After 5 more hours it was about time to land, but when Izuku looked out the window he didn't see the airport, he saw a private landing strip. As they began to land he was confused. Once landed, the door opened and standing at the entrance was his father, Dad. Izuku was confused because he thought his father was in Spain. Bruce. Welcome home, son. Behind his father was a castle, and Izuku heard a waterfall and noticed the castle was on a cliff with a waterfall. Izuku. Dad, why are you here? Alfred said you were in Spain. Bruce. Well, to be honest, I've wanted to have my family complete again, so I'm making Japan my headquarters. Izuku hugged his father. He heard more footsteps and saw his older brothers. Jason. Well, little man, hope you liked hanging with us because you're stuck with us now. Izuku saw his whole family was in Japan. He was so happy he couldn't believe it was real. Bruce. Let's head inside, we have guests that want to see you. As they entered the new mansion, Izuku saw 4 familiar faces. It was Aizawa, Nezu, All Might and Melissa. Izuku. Melissa, what are you doing here? Melissa. Surprise Aizu, I'm going to attend the Institute of Technology here in Japan. Izuku was happy he'd get to spend time with Melissa, so they shared a quick kiss until someone reminded them they weren't in private. Ahem, it was none other than Principal Nezu. Nezu. Young Midori, or should I call you Wayne, we've come here on behalf of your school, seeing as you had a name change. Izuku. Okay, so what's gonna happen? Nezu. When classes start up again, don't report like normal. We'll tell the class you were pulled out due to family issues, then you and the entire Bat family will enter TUA and we'll reveal your face to the class as Izuku Wayne. Izuku. Okay, that's fair. After the meeting, Izuku's teachers left and this gave him some time to spend with Melissa. They had a makeout session and cuddled. She even joined the Wayne family for dinner after having introduced herself to the family. Back to school. It was time for UA to start up again, but Izuku didn't wear his uniform since it no longer fit due to him gaining muscle and a slight growth spurt. The whole family was dressed in their Bat family costumes. They couldn't wait to see the expression on their faces once Izuku's friends saw him. In class 2A. As all the students walked in, they greeted each other and caught up asking how they spent the break. When the bell rang, everyone noticed one seat was empty. It belonged to Midoriya. When Aizawa walked into class, the students noticed Nezu and All Might behind him. Aizawa. Alright class, if you're wondering what happened to Midoriya, he was pulled out of UA. Itsuki. Ha, I knew that useless bastard couldn't measure up to me. Everyone shot a glare at him, knowing Midoriya is infinitely better than Bakugo. Ichako put her head down in shame, knowing she chose poorly and that there wouldn't be a chance to apologize to him. Aizawa. No Bakugo, it's because of a family issue, but we have some special guests. The classroom's window suddenly broke and in came the Bat family. There was a massive gasp like someone couldn't breathe. It came from Tokoyami. They all looked at him because he knew the heroes that came in. Tokoyami. It's the Bat Family. When that was said, the Bat Family was a highly known group whose leader was Batman, who was also a founding member of the Justice League. At that moment Kitsuki got up and shouted. Kitsuki. Round face, we're through. The Justice League has finally acknowledged my greatness and has decided to recruit me. Michako didn't cry, she was happy because Kitsuki was ruining her life as he didn't let her meet her friends and tried controlling everything she did. That's when a hysterical laughing was heard. It was Redude. Redude. You're a better comedian than Hero Kid, ain't no way in hell we're here for you. You're not even qualified to work for the Teen Titans. Then Iida raised his hand. He was then called on by Nightwing. Can you tell us why you're here? Before Nightwing could answer, Batman cut in. Batman. We're here to introduce my youngest son who will be in your class. Nightclaw stepped forward. As Nightclaw walked forward, he was about to show his face to the class when the classroom door opened and two kids rushed inside. It was Kota and Eri, who finished their lessons with Midnight, and Mandalay, who taught them. The two kids then bumped into Nightclaw's leg, who knelt down and asked, "Are you okay?" The two kids had stars in their eyes as they knew who was in their costume. Kota. Eri. You're home. The two kids attempted to tackle him and they hugged him. Class 2 was confused as to how both Kota and Eri knew who he was. Seconds later, Mandalay showed up and apologized to Eraser since the kids wanted to ask if they could play outside. Mandalay saw Redude and embraced him. Mandalay. Red, you're here. Redude. Just like I promised Shino-chan, but let's save our reunion for a bit later. The kids know who is joining 1A. Nightclaw. So you know who I am? Kota. Yeah, you're amazing. Eri. You're kind and strong. Nightclaw. Then will you do the honors and remove my helmet so the rest of the class can't see me? The two kids removed the helmet and everyone saw a familiar face who looked very handsome now. Izuku. Guess who's back? CLASS 2A. Midoriya. Chapter 8. As Kota and Eri removed Nightclaw's helmet, everyone saw handsome Izuku. Izuku. Guess who's back? Class 2A. Deku Midoriya. Izuku. Actually, it's no longer Midoriya, my name is now Izuku Wayne. Everyone was in awe. Izuku looked more confident and had gone through a major change. The teachers had smirks on their faces after seeing 2A's reaction. Izuku. Great to be back, guys, hope you all had a great summer. Before, Kitsuki was fuming since he was still considered a nobody to the Justice League. Now a nuclear bomb was brewing because Izuku had come back, a new man who was getting all the attention. Nezu. Now young Wayne, please take your seat. Izuku. Yes, sir. Izuku tapped a button on his utility belt that made his costume store itself away within his belt for quicker access. His classmates saw he wasn't in uniform but looked very handsome in his new street clothes. Izuku. Iida, before you ask why I'm not in uniform, they no longer fit and Principal Nezu allowed me to wear my street clothes today since I'll probably receive my uniform tomorrow or by the end of today. Iida slowly lowered his hand and said nothing since this is what he was gonna say. Nezu. Alright class, now before we leave you, I'd also like to introduce Batman, America's number 2 hero who is also quirkless. Kitsuki. What, ain't no way some quirkless piece of shit is number 2 in America. Before anyone could do anything, Batwoman was standing in front of Bakugo and grabbed his head, slamming it into the desk, breaking his nose and causing blood to flow from his face. Kitsuki. You crazy bitch. Inko at this point was boiling in rage that her quirk evolved and made it possible to lift Kitsuki and leave him pinned to the wall. She slowly removed her mask and Kitsuki saw who it was. He was shocked. Kitsuki. Auntie Inko. Inko. Any right you had to call my auntie is gone. Your mother told me I could have taught you this lesson at a younger age, but I thought you would change. She walked back to the rest of the Bat Family and saw a hand raised. It was none other than Tokoyami. Yes, young man, Inko said as she called on him. Tokoyami. Batwoman. Inko. Actually, it's milliseconds Wayne. Tokoyami. Mrs. Wayne, were you the original Batgirl? Inko. Yes, I was, but I hung up the cape when I was pregnant with Izuku. Nezu. Before you all begin asking more questions, the Bat Family is also here to join UA as part of the staff. They've informed that a select few will get trained by them. The last bit of info surprised everyone. The Bat Family were going to train a select few. This meant being taught by the best of the best. At this point, Kitsuki thought he'd still have a shot to join, but he threw that chance away already. Inko noticed that the little girl was still holding on to Izuku while the young boy was talking about how cool his new suit was. Inko walked up to the group of 3. Inko. Izuku, who are the kids? Izuku. Sorry mom, the boy is Izumi Kota and he's Mandalay's nephews. The girl is Eri Shess, the one we saved during the Yakuza raid. Inko had stars in her eyes and it was a look Bruce knew too well. It was the look that said let's adopt her, so Bruce shot a look at Nezu and understood, so he'd set something up. Batman. As Nezu has mentioned, we will choose who we will train, so we've been given your class roster and tomorrow we will decide who we train. Nezu. Since this took up most of your class time, please head to your dorms. Classes are dismissed for the rest of today. Izuku, will you Eri, Aizawa and the Bat family report to my office? In Nezu's office. Nezu. So Aizawa, how much progress has been made with Eri's quirk control? Aizawa. She has control over it and she doesn't activate it unknowingly now. Nezu. Perfect, now milliseconds. Eri, what would you say about being adopted by Izuku's family? Eri. They look a bit scary. Izuku. Don't worry, they're heroes too, we make villains think twice about being bad. Guys, can you take off the masks and helmet? Izuku. See, they're not so scary, right Eri? Eri. Is the lady your mommy? Izuku. Yes, she is. Eri. She's really pretty. Inko walked her up to the little girl and knelt down, hoping she wouldn't be afraid. Thank you for saying so, sweetie. Inko said as she petted the girl's head, then Bruce slowly walked forward and knelt down as well. Bruce. So Eri, would you like to join our family? You'll have 4 big brothers. Eri looked scared and unsure until Izuku spoke up. Eri, you'll be my little sister and you won't have to worry about not seeing me. Eri. I can have a family. Bruce. You will. So what do you say? Eri. Can I join your family? Bruce. Inko. Welcome to the family. Nezu. Congratulations MR and MRS Wayne on adopting your daughter. Eri, we hope you are happy with your new family. Eri cried tears of joy, then the rest of the Bat family had gathered around to welcome their new little sister. Chapter 9. After Eri was adopted by the Wayne family, they went home, but since his parents and brothers were now working at UA, they had a mansion near the dormitory so they would be close and Eri could still see Izuku. Upon entering the mansion, Eri was in awe of how massive her new home was. She couldn't believe that this was her new home. Alfred. Welcome home. Alfred said as he had prepared snacks and beverages for everyone. Eri. Aizu, who is that? Izuku. Eri, meet Grandpa Alfred. Eri. I have a grandpa. Before anyone could say anything, Eri let out the biggest smile as she now had what she always wanted, a family. Adjacent to Izuku. Must protect. Eri. Hello grandpa. Eri said as she hugged the leg of Alfred. The rest of the family could have sworn Alfred had a few tears of joy stream down his face, which made the others think maybe he wanted to be called grandpa. Before Alfred could welcome the new addition to the family home, a familiar jingling was heard. It was none other than Ace, the family dog. As the dog saw Eri, he approached her with caution. Meanwhile, Eri was scared as she hadn't had any contact with dogs before. Eri closed her eyes and felt the dog's snout as he sniffed her, which made her giggle. Ace lowered his head and Eri petted Ace. It was a pure scene that the family caught a camera flash. It was Alfred who suddenly took the photo. Alfred. Do you think the family albums fill themselves? Bruce. Now let's show you your room. Bruce said as he picked up his new daughter, which made her smile much more as they walked to the bedrooms and explained who slept in which room. She could find one of them. Time had gone by quickly. The family enjoyed dinner together. They all noticed Eri was falling asleep, so Inko picked up the little girl and got her ready for bed. The time was currently 8 p.m. Eri slept for 4 hours. As she woke up around midnight, she heard a familiar jingle and fled Ace leap onto the bed. She left her room. As Ace followed her, she saw signs on all the doors, which made it easy to tell what room it was or who it belonged to. When she found the bathroom, she knocked and heard no response. She was barely able to open the door, and Ace waited outside for the girl to finish. Once Eri was done, she was going back to bed until she heard voices. Izuku, you'll have to learn how to deal with multiple opponents. We'll begin slow and only using half our strength, then we'll go full speed and full strength. I've also called in for some more help. When Eri heard that conversation, she knew it was her new dad, and he was talking to Izuku. She had followed the voices and found the gym. As she slowly cracked open the door, she saw multiple heroes she didn't recognize. Eri didn't know what kind of quirk her dad and brothers had, but they were able to tell that she was there. Eri, come in, they said simultaneously, as she was scared that her father and brothers would be upset. At that moment the door opened and Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow and Green Lantern saw a child with snow white hair and ruby eyes. Inko rushed and picked up Eri. Nobody saw how she moved that fast. What's wrong, baby? Did you have a nightmare? Eri. No mommy, I just had to go to the bathroom, then I heard voices. Bruce. Well, since you're awake, I'd like to meet your aunt and uncles before we put you back to bed. Eri. Hello, my name is Eri Wayne. She said that she felt herself being lifted in the air. Well, aren't you adorable? She was lifted up by Wonder Woman. I'm your Aunt Diana. As she flew around the room, the others introduced themselves and hoped the little girl wouldn't be so shy. Eri met her aunt and uncles, which were very kind. She yawned once again, which made her family understand it was bedtime. Diana. It seems it's time for the princess to go to bed. Eri. I want to be with my family. Eri said in an exhausted tone, but Izuku understood that this was the first time she had ever known a family. Izuku. Don't worry Eerie, they'll always be around. Eerie. Okay, can I have a bedtime story? Inko. What kind of bedtime story, honey? Eerie. A story on how we became a family. Bruce. You know, sweetheart, the way our family was made isn't a happy story in the beginning. Eerie. Can I please know? Chapter 10 History PT.1. Eerie was going to hear the story of how her family came together. She was a bit excited. Although Bruce was a bit hesitant to tell her the truth. Bruce. Honey, I'd like you to know that the way our family was brought together wasn't very happy at first. Eerie. Okay. I'd like to know. Bruce. Alright then, it started with me. Bruce. Flashback. Pav. We had just gotten out of the theater and father, mother and I had taken a shortcut through an alleyway and in front of us stood a man who demanded my father's wallet and my mother's pearls. When both my parents gave him what he wanted, he felt as if it wasn't enough and gunned them both down without mercy. I was the only one left alive when police finally arrived. I was left traumatized by seeing both my mom and dad dead before my eyes. When police took me away to question me, I couldn't speak. My eyes no longer had the same shine. In the end, they contacted Alfred, the only person at home. He then rushed to the station and was devastated to hear about the murder of my parents. From then on, he became my guardian and I vowed to find the man who killed my parents. Flashback and back to present. Eerie. Daddy, you're like me, adopted. Bruce. Yes, I am. Eerie. We're not alone anymore, are we? Bruce. No, we aren't. Eerie. When did you meet mommy? Inko. Well, sweetheart, it was a strange meeting, but one I would never change. Inko's flashback. Pav. I have been assigned to move overseas and work in the city of Gotham. The crime rate is high and many people are injured due to being caught in the crossfire of gang wars. After working in Gotham for 8 months, I had gotten accustomed to working and doing multiple surgeries a day due to the innocent getting caught in the middle. That's when it happened. As I was walking home late after my shift, some thugs pulled me into an alley and tried to rob me. I was afraid for my life. There was nothing I could do, so I screamed help, thinking that it might have been the end for me. I heard my guardian angel's voice. Let her go now. Thug 1. It's Batman. Thug 2. We can take him. Thug 3. Get him. I saw the thugs attack Batman, but it was useless because he took them down easily. I never noticed the fourth one, who hid like a coward. He held a knife and stabbed Batman. The last guy fled. As I went to check on him, blood was pouring out and I saw the knife was rusted. Thinking quickly, I helped him right there by tearing a part of his cape to stop the bleeding, then dragged him to my apartment. After getting him inside, I cleaned and disinfected the wound, followed by stitching him up. Just as a precaution, I gave him antibiotics and painkillers. The only thing I could do was wait and see if I did a good job. When 2 hours passed, he regained consciousness and thanked me, but I let him eat some food to keep his strength up. Back to the present. Inko. That's how I met your papa, sweetheart. Eerie. Wow, mommy, you became a hero to daddy. Bruce. She sure did, and now that I have my family, nothing won't get in my way to keep what I hold precious safe. Eerie. Even me. Bruce. Even you, Eerie. You're the family baby now. Bruce tightly hugs his little princess, hoping he can protect her with all his might. Eerie returned the hug, hoping she wasn't overstepping any boundaries. Eerie. You and mommy got married, then biggest brother was born, right? Pick. Actually, Eerie, I'm a lot like you, Jason. Tim and I were also adopted. Eerie. Really? Chapter 11 History PT2. Pick. Actually, Eerie, we're a lot alike. Eerie. How? Pick. Jason, Tim and I were adopted like you, that's why our last names aren't officially Wayne. Eerie. How did mommy and daddy find you? Pick. It started like this. Flashback. Hicks. Pav. It was another day like any other at Jack Haley's circus, but little did I know that it would be the last time I'd see my parents. I saw a man named Tony Zucco. He was threatening Mr. Haley again. Before anything bad happened, Dad came and ran him off. My parents and I kept practicing our trapeze routine so we'd make sure we didn't mess up during the big show. When it was around 8 p.m. the final setup was being done, I noticed someone who wasn't supposed to be there. I tried to tell Mom and Dad, but our show was about to begin. Haley. Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, welcome to the grandest show on earth. Before we begin, I'd like to thank a special benefactor who made this all possible, Mr. Bruce Wayne. The spotlight was on Bruce as he waved to the crowd, dropping his popcorn and soda. Next to him was Inko, who giggled at his clumsiness. Haley. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the center ring for a dazzling display of aerial artistry, death-defying stunts, the Flying Graysons. As we began the routine, my dad went first. Everything went well. Next was my turn. I flew through the air. When I made it back to my mother, I noticed the trapeze rope was weak, and when my mom was caught, both her and dad fell to the ground. Flashback over. Pick. That was the last time I saw my mom and dad. Pick had tears running down his face, so did his other brothers, since none of them had it easy in the beginning of their lives. Hick felt a small hand brush his tears away. He looked and saw his little sister. Eerie. We're not alone anymore, we have family. Hick. You're right. He then hugged his sister until she asked the same exact question he once asked Bruce long ago, does the hurt ever go away? Hick. I wish I could say yes, but it will get better in time for you, that we all promise. At that point Hick finally understood why Bruce told him those same words so long ago. Jason. I guess it's my turn to tell you my story. Mine isn't as long as Dad's or Hick's. Jason flashback Pav. I wandered the streets on my own looking for anything good to steal until I saw the most amazing car. I began to think about how much I'd get if I steal the tires I could probably eat for a few days. I went for it and stole the 2 front tires. When I made it back to my abandoned building of a home, Batman found me. He asked about my family, but I couldn't say anything since I've been alone for as long as I could remember. From there I helped him stop a large gang, and from then on I became Robin. Jason Pav end. Jason. I know, not very exciting, but thanks to Mom and Dad being a part of my life, they've made me stay away from making massive mistakes. Eerie. You were a bad boy, big brother. Jason. Yeah, but I'm not proud of it, although I really am glad I had Mom, Dad, Grandpa and Big Bro to help me out. Tim. Well, lastly it's my turn. Eerie. How did Mommy and Daddy adopt you? Tim. I was there when Big Brother Hick's parents were killed. When Batman began to work on the case, I too started to follow his work. Eventually I saw Batman and his sidekick Robin fight a villain, and from there I know Robin had to be Hick Grayson because of how agile and nimble he was. After Robin became Nightwing, a new Robin appeared but was badly hurt, and Dad wasn't the same anymore. Eerie. Gasp Big Brother Jay, you were hurt. Jason. I was in a coma for years. When I finally woke up I had to recreate myself. Let Tim finish up. Tim. I then took the mantle of Robin, hopefully to snap Dad back to his senses. That's how we became a family. Eerie. Wow. Izuku. Yeah, Eerie, we were all broken, and now we have each other. Eerie began to yawn as she placed her head on the comfortable pillow, her eyes slowly closed. When all members of the Bat family left her room except Ace, who was keeping watch over the little girl. Once outside of her room Bruce made a vow. Bruce. I'm going to give my little girl the best life ever. Chapter 12. The following morning Eerie had woken up. As she rubbed the sleep from her eyes, she noticed she was no longer at Izawa's apartment. Her bedroom door opened to reveal Inko. She squealed as she saw Eerie look adorable while rubbing her eyes. Inko. Good morning honey, how did you sleep last night? Eerie. I slept well mommy. Inko shrieked loudly again, which caused all members of the Wayne family to storm into the room, weapons drawn. When they saw no trouble they remembered how much Mom loved her little girl. They all shared good morning greetings and hugs. Izuku. Alfred, you came here with just a metal bat. Alfred. Of course not Master Izuku. This isn't an ordinary metal bat. As Alfred pushed a button at the bottom of the bat it became a stun bat. Which impressed Izuku due to it looking like a usual metal bat. It was also a discreet weapon since it had a capsule form. Alfred. Since there's no danger currently, let me go prepare breakfast for us all. Is there anything specific you'd all like? Nobody said a thing until Eerie voiced her opinion but was scared because she didn't know how her family would act. Eerie. Grandpa, can we have pancakes please? Alfred. Of course we can. The question now is, what kind of pancakes would you like? Eerie. Can we have cinnamon apple pancakes? Alfred took off at the speed of light to prepare breakfast. When the Wayne family had arrived downstairs, the table was set with a play set for everyone. Eerie was sitting next to Inko, who helped the little girl cut her pancakes up as they said in unison, Itadakimasu. Eerie had stars in her eyes as she loved the flavor-packed pancakes. Everyone was drinking coffee, while Alfred brought over a cup of chocolate milk for the snow angel. During breakfast Izuku asked the important question that needed to be discussed. Izuku. So have you all thought about who you're picking on training? Bruce. Yes, I've chosen to take on 2 students. Hick. I've got a couple in mind. Jason. Same. Tim. I'm picking 2 students only. Inko. I've got my eye on 1 student, but I've called in a favor to train the other one who also caught my attention. As everyone had finished discussing the important topic they finished eating and saw Eerie drink the last of her chocolate milk, leaving behind a milk mustache. Inko squealed again, but this time a camera flash had gone off. They looked towards the direction of the flash to see Alfred again. Alfred. Like I said before, do you think the family albums fill themselves? Alfred said this as he brought out multiple albums with precious family memories. Everyone got ready and headed out. Inko picked up Eerie as she was being dropped off at Nezu's office, where she and Kota received their education. In class. Upon entering class, Achako approached Izuku's seat. She was nervous, but didn't know how to talk to him since she stopped hanging out with him during the time she was with Bakugo. Izuku. Good morning, Uraraka. She was taken aback since the atmosphere was tense around them. She began to take deep breaths, hoping Izuku would accept her, but little did she know she was wrong. Ichako. Wayne, would you like to go out with me sometime around this week? Izuku. Uraraka, I'm sorry but I can't. It's not because you dated my bully, but because I'm already in a committed relationship. I hope we can be friends again. She quietly went to her seat and waited for homeroom to begin. As the bell rang, classes went on like normal for the first half of the day, until after lunch was when things got interesting. Heroics, 102. As hero course lessons were about to begin, all students went silent as the classroom door opened, and entering the class was none other than the Bat family. Batman. Alright class, like we mentioned before, a few of you will be lucky enough to be trained by us, so quiet down and listen up. The class of Tua had gone quiet but were excited to see who would be chosen for this opportunity. Batman. I'll be training Rakido Sato and Tokoyami Fumikage. Both Sato and Fumikage were hyped since they would be taught by the best. Nightwing. I'll be taking Ajiro Mashirao and Kirishima Ajiro. Redude. I'll be taking Princess Sparkles and Sparky. Redude pointed to both Aoyama and Kaminari, which made the two gasp as they were chosen for the special training. Redraben. I've chosen my first student from the general ed course, Hitachi Shinso, and the second will be Tenya Ida. Batwoman. I'm taking both Momo Yaoi Rozu and Kayaka Jiru. Batman. Congratulations to those who have been chosen, we hope you can show us your absolute best so we won't regret our decision. While the rest of the class was upset due to not being chosen, they didn't have time to express their disappointment. Batman. Before any of you whine and complain about not being chosen, I've called in the other members of the Justice League to train you to improve your quirks. Everyone was now hyped as they would have great heroes to teach them how to vastly improve their quirks. Batman. Katsuki Bakugo, I've got a special teacher for you, you'll improve, here is the address where you'll meet them. Katsuki had a very smug look, but little did he know he was gonna be played. A few more members of the Justice League had walked into the class. Batman. Alright students, time for training, get into your PE uniforms. Katsuki head to that address immediately. Chapter 13. When all students got dressed into their PE uniforms and went to their respective teachers for training, Katsuki got changed and ran off to the address he was told to go to. When everyone was with their teachers, Izuku raised his hand. Yes son. Where did you send Bakugo? I had Jason take care of that. Jason was dying of laughter as everyone turned to him waiting for his answer. Jason. I sent him to dog obedience school. Jason said as he continued to die of laughter as the others joined him. What surprised them the most was that Batman himself was also chuckling, only because Inko was present. With Katsuki. As Katsuki arrived downtown where his teacher would be, he saw a small office building. He walked in and talked to the receptionist. Katsuki Bakugo here. The woman typed the name into their system and asked, where's little Katsuki at? Katsuki. Who the buck are you calling little bitch? Receptionist. Sir, this is a dog obedience school, so where is your dog? Katsuki was fuming mad as he stomped out of the building and began to swear like a sailor. Many civilians began to think he was just some crazy kid. Katsuki then began to make his way back to UA. But the Batman and the Bat family. As the Bat family have their students, they all take an area to train their students in hand-to-hand combat. Bruce was instructing both Sato and Tokoyami, but before he gave them any techniques to try, he made them go through an intense workout. With Hick had taken Ajiro and Kirishima under his wing, and since Ajiro was a martial artist, he taught him basic weapons training through a hologram, which helped a lot. Kirishima on the other hand was a brawler-type fighter, so Hick thought it'd be best to teach him a style that suited him best. With Jason. Since Jason picked Aoyama and Kaminari, he decided to make them sharpshooter specialists with their quirks. The big issue was the fact that Kaminari had a disc launcher on his arm and it was too bulky, he needed something more discreet. Jason went digging into his old weapons vault until he found what he was looking for. Jason. Here's Sparky electrical pistol, this should absorb electricity and shoot it out like a bullet. Kaminari was in awe of his new support gear that could possibly help him more than his first upgrade. When he walked back he noticed something familiar about Aoyama's belt. Jason. Alright Sparkles, shoot the dummy in front of you. Aoyama did as he was told, but after a second of holding his quirk his stomach began to ache, just as I suspected, Jason said as he placed a hand on an upset Aoyama. Jason. Hey Tim. Tim. Yeah, what's up? Jason. Can I borrow the toolkit you use to fix circuits? Tim. Yeah, it's fine, if you know where it's at just grab it. Inko. Will you stop shouting? Jason. Tim. Sorry mom. Jason went to grab the toolkit and a quirk cancelling bracelet. Alright Sparkles, put on this bracelet to hand me your belt. Aoyama did as he was told, then saw Jason inspect the belt. Jason. Do you know what company this belt is from? Aoyama. Sorry I don't. Jason. Well, a while back the support company that made this belt discovered one employee taking damaged belts and selling them to other shops, but told them they were in perfect condition. Aoyama was shocked at hearing this since the possibility of his parents being scammed by the vendor is high. Aoyama. What was the defect on some of the belts? Jason. The main defect was the optic lens. It's the main component that allows your quirk to fire out completely. Just give me a bit, I'll fix this belt up and upgrade it while I'm at it. For now, take this paper. Aoyama took the paper and on it was multiple exercises that would help him bulk up, so he went and began working out. But Tim was training Shinso with gadgets and close quarters combat. Tim was impressed that Shinso could quickly adapt with new gadgets. Iida was also learning to adapt to gadgets and martial arts because his main tactic was to end a fight quickly with one strike. Although Tim is only going to have Iida for a short time and then he's going to have Flash take over his training since they're both speedsters. With Inko was able to fortify Momo's confidence in weapons combat. Inko did her best to apply a lot of pressure during their sparring. When Momo's confidence began to crumble, Inko nearly slams her staff on Momo's head as she saw the girl flinch in fear. Inko. Momo dear, you did great, but we have to work on your confidence while you're under pressure. A villain will not show any mercy. Momo nodded, a bit upset with herself as she had believed that her lack of confidence was solved last year. She saw Inko smile and offer her a hand. As she accepted her hand, Inko dropped some wisdom. Inko. You know, you remind me of myself when I first became a surgeon. Momo. Really, how so? Inko. When I first began doing surgeries I doubted myself a lot until I performed a difficult operation which held someone's life in the balance. If you fail a surgery someone could die, but as a hero if you fail to hold off a villain many more will suffer. It'll help you get stronger, so no more doubt. Momo felt stronger. She then thanked Inko. They went to check on Kayaka, who was being taught by Black Canary and teaching her how to do a sonic screech by using her jacks to send vibrations to her vocal cords. Canary was impressed with her student before anyone else can continue to train. Alfred came in with Eri as he was pushing a cart full of food and beverages. Alfred. Before you all run yourselves ragged by training I suggest you all eat and rehydrate. Batman. We will after. Eri. Daddy, please eat. Eri said with large puppy dog eyes as it almost appeared she was going to cry. When Bruce saw this, he said to himself, what kind of monster am I? Batman. Alright, let's eat and rehydrate. What he failed to notice was Eri and Alfred sharing a high five, seeing that their plan had worked. Inko. Alfred, have you seen Izuku? Alfred. Yes, the young master was called by All Might for special training. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.